everybody. Welcome back. This is the Woo Factor. I'm your host, Susie Woo, always having such amazing guests here. This is grounded conversations for cosmic thinkers. And so today we're going to be speaking with Daniel Klaes, and he does a lot of different things, interwoven with the paranormal, of course. Why don't I just bring him on and let's see what we can learn today about the paranormal world. Hey, Dan.
Hey, how's it going?
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm really excited about this episode because you got some history. The whole beginning of your infatuation, maybe that's too strong a word, of the paranormal world, like where did that start for you?
Looking back, it started as a child, growing up in a haunted house, having weird things happen in our house growing up, and having parents that kind of pushed it under the rug to
What,
later
what
find
kind of
out.
weird things?
So, like some of the like the bigger things that I always remember in the back of my head is like us as a family going to church on Sunday, and then we go out for breakfast, and we know nobody's at our house, and we'd come home, doors are locked. There'd be like crayons sitting in the middle of the living room with crayon drawings on our vaulted ceilings, weird things like that. You'd always hear like footsteps on the stairs. My sister was ADHD. She had a ton of stuffed animals on her bed. I'm the oldest. I have three sisters, and she always set her stuffed animals up on her bed, just like so neatly every morning. And we'd always find them moved, and I'd always get blamed for it. And I'm like, I tease. I'm a big brother. I tease, but I definitely didn't do that. And I'm like, why am I getting blamed for something I didn't do? And I would get upset about it. And then I remember one time my parents had gone camping at Shirkston up in Canada, and I decided to stay home and stay at my buddy's house, who lived a couple doors down. And we had gone to my house to get my GI Joe guys because we were going to be playing our GI Joes in the sand pit, and we opened the door and we heard it sounded like a little girl singing Ring Around the Rosie coming from upstairs in our house. And I wanted to get the hell out of there. And he started running up the stairs as he was in our house. And as we walked by my sister's room, a stuffed animal just tipped over on the floor. And I was like, wow. So stuff like that happened growing up, just nothing malicious, nothing crazy, but parents always, sloughed it off, and tried to protect us mentally, I guess. I moved out and later bought that house from them, not thinking about all the stuff that happened. But then when my kids started experiencing some of the things that I did, it really got me thinking about what's actually going on here. Like I got to investigate. I look at what the whole situation is like a big Scooby-Doo episode of my life. I didn't know if I believed in psychics at the time. It was very kind of spiritual ended as far as my look at the whole thing. But I did do a lot of research onto the house now that I had the deed, and I found that there were two children that had died of cystic fibrosis in the house. And I didn't know if it was something that had to do with that. My friend told me I needed to go to Lilydale, and I'm like, I don't know, like I don't know about that. And she got me to go, and she got me at the time it was with Ellen Born. And that was the first time I had ever met Ellen. And again, I didn't know if I believed in psychics at that point. And she went ahead and told me before I even paid her that I had two children spirits living in my house. They were attached to something that was theirs that they really loved, and that they meant no harm. Like it was like, my God, she just told me what I wanted to know, and I didn't even pay her yet. It was like kind of a funny situation. Then she told me a bunch of other stuff too, like nobody would know, like direct spots in my house where things were from my grandfather. And, it just really got me believing like, okay, like it's all coming together here. I just needed to kind of find out what was, what were they attached to in this house, and then I could let them reign free. And ended up probably 2 years after that, I had no clue what they were attached to. And I ended up going up in the attic of the house, and I had never been up there. It was just like one of those little squares that nobody ever goes into in the ceiling, and and put the flashlight around up there, and there were these boards. So I tiptoed over to them, and when I turned them around, there were paintings of a little boy and a little girl playing with their dog. And it was like a series of paintings, and it was like, holy crap, I just felt like lightness. I felt like I just solved the mystery, and told them they could go to the light and everything she told me to tell them. And it was just lighter from that point on. And I felt like I helped them move on in a way. And I felt like I don't know, I just wanted to learn more. And after that whole episode with my house, I started a paranormal group in Western New York called the Greater Western New York Paranormal Society. And we started like videotaping our stuff for YouTube and going into haunted locations and trying to figure it out history based, and it's kind of been a whirlwind story since then.
Wow. Wow. So when this first started happening and you saw things displaced and the doors locked and stuff, like, and it didn't scare you at all?
Oh no, I was scared. I was freaked out. Don't get me wrong. It was unsettling, like when things like that would happen and there was really no explanation given except somebody's pulling a prank on us. Like it always sat in the back of my mind. Like I was scared to go in the basement when I was a kid. Every time I would hear creaks on the footstep, but there was nothing there, I would like hide under blankets. I always felt like when I was in my bedroom by myself, a lot of the times I felt like I just wanted to put the covers over me because I didn't want to keep, look around the room in the dark,
Mm.
So it was definitely, I was scared when I was a kid for sure.
Were your sisters afraid too?
Later in life, after we talked about it all, it's funny because we didn't really talk about the experiences that each of us had until later in life when they filmed my life story on for a Travel Channel episode. It's called My Paranormal Nightmare. And then my sister started talking about stuff that happened to her. My other sister started talking. My second oldest sister, she had an experience where she could have died and something helped her. My parents had installed a pool in the backyard and they hadn't installed the electrical to the filter yet. So we just had an extension cord running from our basement out to the filter. And she had gotten out of the pool and went to go plug the extension cord in, and she started getting shocked. And she said she couldn't move, and there was nobody there. And then something just pulled her off of it. And she said it always sat in the back of her mind, like she could physically feel somebody like help her, like she was,
Wow.
yeah. So she could have been electrocuted with nobody, and nobody there to help her.
Oh, that's nuts.
And then my mom, she started telling me about how she saw a shadow person in the basement, and it all came out later after I started doing what I was doing, and they felt more comfortable talking about it. But yeah, nobody said anything until later in life, and I was just the one gutsy enough to talk about it on camera, and then my other sister wanted to talk about it, and now we're all kind of into it.
Oh, that's really cool. So you founded the Society for Paranormal Research. Is that still operational? Do you go out and do stuff like haunts and things?
Yeah, I mean, I'm busy with a lot of other projects, so it's not like we can go out and do a lot of it anymore, but we do coordinate with other groups in Western New York and try to get them the best people that can come to their house if they have something going on at their house. I have been able to turn a lot of what I do, like with filming a television show, into active investigations with like Nick and Tessa and myself, like when we're filming the show to help people out as well. So, I mean, it just depends on how busy I am, which is usually pretty busy.
Yeah, you have a lot of things on your plate. You're going in lots of different directions. Let's circle back though. So you own the Hinsdale house. Where did that come from? How did that come to be? What put it on the map for you?
So it was just typical. We were filming our YouTube series Behind the Shadows. Normally, I was the one that like did all the investigative work on the location because knowledge is power when you're going into these locations, kind of trying to know the history, knowing what you might be up against, knowing what energies might be there. Always came in handy to me when I'm doing an investigation. I wanted to figure out what was going on with the Hinsdale house because somebody, my co-founder of the group, he's like, "Oh, I got this one taken care of. Don't do any research. I'll brief you when you get there." And I didn't do any research on the Hinsdale house. And it was in the middle of December when we got our booking to come there. I didn't even own it yet. And I got to the location. It took a while because it was the middle of winter and it's in the middle of a hill in the Enchanted Mountains. And got there, and I just remember pulling up to it and thinking, "Oh my God, we're going to this place." And my cell phone wasn't working. I kind of, that commercial with the kids and they run outside and there's a running car and then there's a garage with chainsaws hanging down from it and they're like, "Let's go hide in there." I mean, it kind of felt like that to me. Like I'm gonna be stuck here, overnight. Like, but I didn't know anything, and the first thing that stepped out to me when I walked into the kitchen was, okay, there's no heat in this house, and there's flies buzzing around in the kitchen. What the hell's going on here? There was heat by space heater in the living room only, with like sheets down in the front in the doorway, and electric in the living room only. So made my way to the living room, and I sat down in the living room, and he plopped a computer in front of me, and he had us watch an episode of A Haunting. It's called The Dark Forest, and it was based on the story of the house that I'm sitting in right now. And this was my briefing of the location, and I just remember getting a sick feeling in my stomach because it has a very storied past with a failed structural exorcism and a family that was tormented. And here I am sitting in this place without any grounding, without any knowledge. And I was kind of pissed that I didn't know this information before I came there. And I just had to get up and I had to walk out and I had to kind of ground myself, mentally get ready to actually go into this location. And what stood out to me is that every piece of equipment that I had, it was going off. Like something was manipulating the equipment that we had in this location. There was no electricity in the upstairs, no electricity. There was nothing that could have made my equipment go off. Now I've done this for years at this point and gone into locations that are known hauntings, and I'm lucky if I get like one EVP on a recorder or a K2 meter going off. And this at the Hinsdale house, it was like everything there, like they were just trying to speak, but they couldn't, like the energies there wanted to let us be known that they were there. And no, I didn't have a negative feeling at all after we got doing the investigation. I just felt like I wanted to know more. Kept going there to investigate more and more and started learning some more of the history. And it got to the point where it was so bad that the people that owned it were from Calgary, and they were just using it for tours, taking the money and funneling it up to Canada and not really putting any money back into the location. And it was bad. I mean, it was leaking. The roof was leaking. There was black mold in the kitchen. There was 500,000 honeybees living in the floorboards of the walls. And there's, it needed so much work. And it's, the people the bank that owned it in Cattaraugus, they basically wanted to tear it down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I kind of stepped in. I had a real personal experience there. Like after I started doing research a couple of weeks before they were supposed to tear it down, and I had called upon Flo and Joe, who were the last residents of the house in the 80s, who had passed away. And I felt tingling sensation up my arm. I had goosebumps, and I'm not one to like feel like I've ever been touched or scratched or anything like that. Like it doesn't happen to me. And I felt it. I felt energy in my hand. The K2 meter that was in my hand went all the way up to 500 milligauss. That's like putting it up to a fuse box. I felt like I was having a conversation with Flo Misnick. And I said, Flo, if you're with me, will you hold my hand as we go up the stairs? And the K2 meter stayed lit in my hand all the way up the stairs into the master bedroom. Now, at this point, again, there's all the ductwork, all the electrical, everything in the house is ripped out. It was just a shell. It was ready to be torn down. I don't know. I just felt like there's so many unanswered stories, so many stories with this house. It would suck, because you always see about these amazing old buildings that get torn down. Not that it's a structural architecture or anything like that, the Hinsdale house, but it has a lot of folklore, a lot of stories, and a lot of people knew about it. And I don't know. I just felt very drawn to trying to see about saving it, and it was a difficult task. I feel like it was kind of like put in my hands, because there's 99% of it probably wouldn't have worked out somehow, and it just did. And I don't know. I look back to this day and thinking about like, how did I do this? How did I even get it to where it is today? And I just took a chance, I took a chance, and with my wife's blessing, that was a tough conversation, like talking to her about that, because I had to go meet with the bank, and they basically told me I could buy it as is because no bank's going to insure it. And then having to go back to my wife and tell her about the black mold and the honeybees and the new roof, and we had just bought a new house. And so I basically had to drain my whole bank account to put the deposit down on this place. It wouldn't leave us with nothing. And she allowed me to do it. I don't know. It's just been, just a lot of love and a lot of effort being put into it as far as like revamping it and getting it to what it is today,
Wow. Wow. So you offer regular scheduled, how does that work? Haunts? I don't know what you call it. Like,
yeah, I mean, we have a little bit for everybody. I mean, we teach kids, so there's like schools now, which I wish that they had this when I was a kid, but they have like paranormal clubs at some of the high schools and middle schools now. So we actually go in. Yeah, we actually go into the schools and we'll teach the kids, and then the kids get to take a field trip to the Hinsdale house and investigate during the day. And
how cool is that?
so we do stuff like that.
Wow.
Like public outreach. We do a lot of outreach in the community as well, as far as like trying to be good neighbors, because we are in a town, but we do offer like daytime tours. We offer, which are just history tours. We offer a daytime ghost hunts if people are a little scared to do the ghost hunting thing, but they're okay with doing it during the day. We do offer that. Then we offer evening ghost tours, which are evening ghost hunts, and then overnight ghost hunts, private ghost hunts, facilitated ghost hunts. I mean, there's at every level, depending on where you stand, we have it available there for people to do. We even do like a camp out every year with facilitators at the camp out, so people can learn and kind of try to understand the location and some of the equipment and what other like different belief systems, what goes into what we're doing. And it's really nice and relaxing and fun for people to be able to do that. There's a little bit for everybody.
Wow. So are there known beings like do you introduce like this is who hangs out here like
So
particular spirits that are always there?
I mean, there's a bunch of different energies there. There's similarities between some of the ones that we have gotten. So we do let people know as much history as possible. We actually even have like a barcodes in 11 other rooms in the house. So like we can update as we go. So like
Wow.
if there's history or some pieces of evidence that were captured by another team or a group, there's an interview maybe that will explain a little bit more of the location. People can just scan the barcode and it takes them to a video or some evidence or some cool information that's all updated, that we just keep updating as we go. It's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. I think I saw something on social media. Somebody got scratched. Is that true? Does that
Yeah,
happen? Yeah.
there's been actually I just got the team that was there last night just sent me pictures. They said they were in the kitchen and he was walking and he felt something burning on his leg. And I mean, they're police officers, so they're not going to blow smoke up my ass, like we also have like videos, we have video cameras running 24/7 in there, which come in handy because I don't know, like you or the people that are watching or listening have been on an investigation. You've often been in that situation where you're like sitting down in one room and then you hear something in another room and you're like, damn, I wish I had a camera or something, And here we do have the cameras running and the people can retrieve the cameras after they leave their investigation to review. So like if they hear something in the next room, they'll be like, write down 443 so we can go back and look at the cameras. It was one of the biggest pet peeves of mine at doing investigations. We're setting up those cameras, the static cameras at the locations that we go to. I'm like, let's just make it easy for people here. We're going to have them pre-set up. They don't have to set up all these static cams and they can review the footage as they want, So it's
That's fabulous.
yeah.
Wow. Do you know, like from your own research and history of the building, like who those spirits are or no?
I mean, we've confirmed a few of them, like through pictures that we've taken of the energies, and then there's a lot that we have no idea, and there's a lot of mystery involved with who or what they may be. I mean, a lot of people jump to assumptions based on stories of the location, but then we find something that kind of turns, like for instance, there's the story of a woman in white out by the pond that we've captured on camera many times. People have communicated with her. I mean, a lot of people always associated her with the story of a woman that got hung on the property. The Hinsdale House had a hanging tree on the northeast corner of the property. And the psychic that was there in the 70s told a story of her being hung while she was pregnant and because she committed adultery or whatever, because her husband was off at war. And then I interviewed a family that lived there in the 60s before the Dandies moved in. And they're talking about, how they drove their snowmobile onto the pond and then it broke through and he had to get his uncle to come out and help him pull the snowmobile out of the pond. And when they turned around, it looked like a man and a woman and a child without legs levitating over the pond. And
Wow.
then as we're diving into this property, and because there's folklore of people that were being killed by the original inhabitants of the house and then burying their bodies on the property and stuff. Part of what we want to do is look at the folklore and try to really debunk that. So owning a location just turns it into a big giant investigation for us, when we have time to do it. And when we were filming for Deathwalker, we were able to bring out ground penetrating radar onto the property into specific areas. And I remember Nick coming in while I was sitting in the kitchen. He's like, you got to come out here, but you're going to be filmed. I go, oh, okay. All right. And brought me out and they had found 4 burial shafts on the right side of the pond, which we would have never have found, like had we not done the things that we've done on the property, and that makes sense to me now because now the guy that does the ground penetrating radar says looks like 2 adults and 2 children, which would make sense of maybe the woman in white walking around the pond or the man and the woman and the child levitating over the pond. So, I mean, there's, it's like a big puzzle, and then you're just like putting the puzzle pieces together and then, oops, you find something else. And now there's more puzzle pieces you need to put together and you just keep going. I don't know that we'll ever know all the truths of it, but I think we've found out quite a bit more than a normal person would at a normal just going to investigate a night or two, like it's fun. It's there's an excavation project going on there right now too as well.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Oh, I'm sure that'll be interesting as well. I just kind of want to also talk about some of the other things that you do because you produce stuff. You're always
Yeah.
doing stuff. So and you got a book. So, don't be humble.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
what else you do. What else you got under your
So
belt there?
I own a production company called No Sleep Entertainment, and we've produced quite a few shows and movies. Most notably, the Death Walker series. We're on our fifth season with it right now, and it's worldwide. We've distributed it worldwide, Travel Channel, Discovery Networks, Rogers in Canada, South America, France, and Australia. So I mean, we've had it all over the place. It's been a whirlwind. We've been learning as we go. I'm working with Nick Groff and Tessa Groff on that project. Nick was notably known for being on Ghost Adventures and Paranormal Lockdown. And the whole thing was is we were looking at the trends of the markets of what was going on with paranormal shows and trying to come up with a way to produce stuff with high quality at a lower cost. And basically what that means is we do a whole lot of jobs that like each person that is on our crew is doing the jobs of like 5 to 10 people and just trying to make it the best that we can with the best quality cameras and the best edits. Those are the two biggest things when you're producing shows is the quality of the camera, the shots, and the edit, putting it together. And we
Mhm.
have a professional, obviously, with Nick. He edited Ghost Adventures, so he knew what we were doing as far as the editing goes, and then knowing and learning the cameras that we're using, really putting the story of the location together. We really focused on using local actors too, like throughout all the projects that we've done, doing like reenactments of the stories of the locations, which was a lot of fun. It was like we became a big family when we were doing the reenactments. We got to know a lot of the actors. It's like Alfred Hitchcock. A lot of the actors were all in the same reenactments for every episode, but they were playing a different character. So
Uh-huh.
you can spot a couple of the actors that are also paranormal investigators that got involved with what we were doing, and it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed doing that. And we just put out a movie called The Devil's Mark. We just had the debut of that last month at the Riviera Theater in North Tonawanda. And we also did a debut in Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan, at a drive-in theater, which sold out, which was really cool. And it's going
Wow.
to be, we're looking to have it distributed. It should be out probably in September, October for everybody to view nationwide, worldwide, really. So we're doing really good with that. It's been a fun project. I've been learning as I go, being an executive as far as the producing television shows go, but it's been fun and it's not something that I ever thought I'd have on my resume. But I guess you never know where life's going to take you, and you kind of just roll with the punches and enjoy it, if you're having fun.
Yeah, yeah, which is really the name of the game. I think that's where most of the world gets it wrong. They just go, maybe earn a living at a 9 to 5, where it's like, no, like do what's fun and then find a way to get paid for it. That's kind of my take on things.
Seriously. Well, that was the biggest thing. Like there's so much frowned upon in the paranormal realm, in the paranormal world, and I'm sure like even with what you do, like people make snide remarks about how much you charge, or oh, you don't do this the right way, or this is the wrong way, or blah. It's like, come on, how do you know what's the right way or the wrong way if you're getting the answers you need, or you're doing things in a positive light? I mean, that's the most important thing. And I don't know, there's just so much taboo in the paranormal world, and being able to rise above that, doing the right things with the location, I think has helped as far as my reputation goes. Being able to take the funds that we're making and put it back into resurrecting that location, and having it is what it is today. I mean, we're booked solid. I mean, we're booked through September. Every day is booked. So I mean, there's teams coming in from all over the world. We've even been recognized by Cattaraugus County for the tourism that we're bringing in, and they put us in all the tourism booklets, Cattaraugus County booklets that you find on the throughways, and it's definitely comes together, So it's all about being good neighbors and working together, and doing things in the right vein, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I like how you mentioned good neighbors because that's, Buffalo. You're always wearing Buffalo attire, is what I
Oh
noticed.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Always representing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with my daughter with her cancer, she's become very fond of hockey. like very
Yeah.
fond of hockey, and I love going to hockey games. I always did, but I had season tickets, but with my buddy back in the day, and then just had we would just go to games here and there, and she just wanted to go to every game. And when she started feeling better and she got that clear free diagnosis, and the Sabres involved her as far as like putting her in suites and getting her to meet some of the players, and she knows it now. She knows the game. She knows the players. She just wrote a message to Alex Tuck, because obviously he's moving on to Washington, but she thanked him for letting her go in his suite and meeting him, and like, the things that give these kids hope. It's
Hmm.
more than sports too, and which makes me love it even more that they do stuff like that for the community, and they do outreach, and they do stuff for these kids that are with having life-changing things happening to them all the time. So people have love for it, but I have even more love for it just for what they've done for my family. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
football too, even
It's
like
beautiful.
Dawson Knox on the Buffalo Bills. He he gave her a signed jersey and then a picture with his hands like that. Like he's such an
Oh.
awesome guy. And she was happy that he got re-signed. So I mean, you can't help but love it.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. That's just
Win or
spectacular.
losers,
And is
win or
she
lose,
doing
there's good
well?
people. She's doing well. She's had her third scan last month, and she came back no new cancer. Everything's
Woo!
abated, and it's just keep praying. That's all we keep praying for, because every time scan date comes up, all that goes through your head, and the cancer that she had is a very aggressive one that comes back quite often. But we're
Mm.
just praying that it doesn't. So far, so
Yeah.
good, and she's
Yeah.
living it up.
Good.
She unfortunately gets almost everything she wants now. It's hard for me to say no. Me and my wife have to constantly remind each other that she's a child. She shouldn't be getting everything that she wants. Like we have to say no once in a while. And here we are driving to Pittsburgh tomorrow to go see Noah Khan. She loves concerts too. Like
How
she's
old
going
is she now? 15?
15, yeah. Yeah, she loves concerts. We're going to see BTS. We're going to go see The Weekend in Spain.
Wow.
We're going to I'm trying to think of some of the Cat's Eye, some of the other ones she likes. She's got to go to quite a bit. She got to go to Taylor Swift while she was in cancer treatment up in Toronto.
Oh my gosh.
I could only afford to get two tickets for that. Like I was like broke after I bought those two tickets. And the Airbnb that we stayed at, I just went up with them, and then I wheelchaired her up to the venue, and then I went to go find what's that cookie place that the kids like. Uh,
Grandma something?
no,
Annie's? Something like
they're like
that?
big giant cookies, like insomnia cookies or something like that. I don't know.
I don't
They're
know.
crumble cookie, crumble. It's called crumble
Mm.
cookie, right? So I had to. I probably walked like 8 miles to find a crumble cookie in Toronto. So when they came back, they had crumble cookies, and I don't know. It's all about putting that smile on their face and giving hope, and that's a lot of what I want to do now, like with these kids and other families that are experiencing some of the same stuff that we've experienced. I want to be able to take that energy from the paranormal and put that into helping families too, and doing what we can do to give them hope. So we've become very involved with other cancer organizations and making donations, raising funds for people that need it, and paranormal stepped up too. Like the paranormal communities, they've stepped up with like autographs and like things that we would need maybe for like giveaways, or if kids are
Mhm.
into the paranormal, they'll do shout outs to them. Like it's a great community.
Oh man, that's really commendable. Do you have any things going on where like people can contribute, like that we can share now?
Well, right now, so like my focus has been there's like organizations that we've been working with. Shine Gold is a local organization in Buffalo that helps support a lot of other organizations. They usually donate thousands and thousands of dollars to like four different cancer organizations or in Buffalo and Western New York. So Shine Gold's an amazing one. Sophia the Fierce is another one. She's a Christina Di Benedetti. Her daughter had passed away of a rare form of cancer, and she started this amazing group up that will help kids. And she ended up, that group sent Shaylee to Universal, and they do a lot of other amazing things for families. As they stock up the food pantry up on the 12th floor of the Children's Hospital, because like when you're there, you don't have good food. You don't have you're eating
Mm.
junk all the time. So they're stocking up healthy things for people to eat up in the food pantry up in the 12th floor. There's so many things that they do. It's such amazing. There's a Sweet Buffalo and Special Spaces Buffalo. There's so many amazing organizations that step up when you're going through something, that I have a list of them that I would just donate to. There's not one, when they have something going on, I get involved and try to help out with fundraising for them. So
Yeah.
a lot of what I've been doing is with the like the Bills and the Sabres, we've been getting merchandise and having it signed by players, framing it or making it really nice so we can donate that to the cause, and it makes good money for them. So,
Oh yeah,
you know,
definitely.
I don't know, whatever we can do. Just
Yeah.
that's fun for me, getting the players to sign the stuff. So,
Yeah. Wow. You're well-rounded and a remarkable guy. That's what I have to say.
well, it's all about life experiences, and just
Yeah.
taking for what it's worth.
Yeah. And then can we just touch on your book real quick?
Yeah, so I have one book out that I wrote about the Hinsdale House. It's called The Hinsdale House: An American Haunting. I'm actually doing lectures on that at Lilydale, the place where I didn't believe in when I first started this off. I had my first one last month and it was packed. It was great. And then I'm doing another one on the 18th of July, the day before my birthday. And they wanted to book me two more, or three more actually, but I'm only available for two for this year. And they said that because the first one was so successful, they want to lock me in for next year too. So I mean, that's awesome. Like it was always like a dream of mine, like because it was always so taboo about going to Lilydale and investigating there, and you don't want to do the wrong things or step on the wrong toes or piss people
Mhm.
off. And then to be invited in to do it was like, oh my God. It's like, oh, you're going to do a ghost walk at Lilydale after your speech. I'm like, yes. It was fun
Wow.
for me. The last one I went to, we took the spirit box and we walked over to the pet cemetery, and this big group of people. I'm like, start telling me some names on the graves, and they're telling me names. I just wanted to see if I could get a dog or a cat or some type of animal to come through on my spirit box. Now,
Hmm.
that would be pretty impressive, I would think, because most of the time you're trying to get human spirits to come through. And we were whistling, calling the animals, asking them to sit, and then lo and behold, we heard a faint bark, and then another barks, and it's like, oh, we can hear them, they can hear us, and
Wow. Oh my God.
it was like chills down the spine. It was really cool. It was a really cool experience for the people that were there, and it was fun. I had a good time. I can't wait to do it on July 18th again.
Badass. That's amazing. So cool. I know when I first got asked to teach something at Lilydale, I was like, oh my God, I've been teaching there 11 years now. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, I think I was just as excited than the first time I was asked to go on Coast to Coast AM, because that was another like thing, like listening to that as I was a kid. I listened to that every night with George Norrie, and
Yes, yeah.
when I was asked to come on the show, I was like, I just remember being on hold and hearing that dun dun that music, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, they're saying my name. It was just like crazy that I've actually
Real
achieved
deal.
anything of knowledge that anybody would want to know that they have me on the show right now was crazy. Like it was just it was fun. It was great, and I've been on it a couple times now. I know I found that more scary than going on television. Honestly, it was just because it was something that I thought was awesome growing up.
Yeah. 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 I suppose it could feel like a little bit intimidating, like, and
Yeah.
then to real, like a little bit of stage fright almost. And then you get through it and it's over and it felt so good. You have that adrenaline rush.
Oh
You
yeah.
really
Yeah, it
did
was really
that.
cool. Yeah, it was so cool.
Is your book available on your website?
Yeah, so you can get it on Amazon, or if you go to my website, danielklaes.com, you can get signed copies of it sent to you. And there's also other books that were written on the Hinsdale House, the Dandy family that lived there in the 70s. Clara Dandy wrote a book called Echoes of a Haunting. So we actually republished that with her, and we have copies of that available. And then another gentleman that was there during the exorcism in 1973, Paul Kenyon, also has a book, and we have that available on the page as well.
Wow. Can we talk about that for a minute? Like
Yeah.
yeah, because I don't know the story, so I'd love to hear it.
The Dandy family,
The
Clara.
yeah, with the subsequent exorcism, like what was going on?
Yeah, so they were just a typical family that lived in Buffalo, and they were looking to get out of the city and kind of move to a more quieter, more picturesque location. And they were looking around in the Southern Tier and came upon this house in the Southern Tier. That's what's known as the Hinsdale House right now. And Clara, who was the mother, and her son and three daughters and her husband Phil all decided that this was the place. It had a pond, there was fields, it was 10 acres, it was in the middle of nowhere, it was quiet, and they loved it. So that was going to be their place, and they signed the contract to purchase it and moved in. And before they even were able to move in, things started happening after they signed that contract. They had the bees are the things that they noticed right off the bat. It was like swarms of bees in the house, and they had to like call an exterminator to come get the bees out. I don't think the bees ever left, honestly, because I had to have the bees removed. They were honeybees, and when I had them removed, there was 500,000 at least. They estimated the honeycombs were into the floorboards, all the way into the living room, like 4 or 5 foot honeycombs. So I'm like, that's a
Wow.
pretty old colony. That was pretty good. I didn't have them killed, just so you know, to make sure. I didn't kill the
Yay.
honeybees. But there's actually beekeepers on Route 16. They have the haunted Hinsdale bees there now, so you can get the haunted Hinsdale honey on Route 16. After they did get into the house, they started having poltergeist activity happening. Things were moving on their own. They were seeing people on the outside of the house that they couldn't explain. They would go outside to investigate who was on their property, and when they'd look inside the house, they'd see the people on the inside of the house. The daughter Laura was getting physically attacked, as far as like getting scratched, things like
Wow.
that. Got to the point where they consulted with the news, the Buffalo News, and Bob Curran. I don't know if you remember him. He was a news writer for the Buffalo News. He started kind of trying to help them out a little bit. And then he told them about the Olean Times Herald, and the Olean Times Herald was trying to help them. And then they got them in contact with a priest from St. Bonaventure, Father Alphonsus Trabolt, who came and did a blessing for them, like to try to help them. I don't think he knew what he was up against at that point. Really cool priest, though. Really into the occult. Really into other people, understanding other people's belief systems and different religions and different stuff like that. So really before his
Yeah.
time, sounded like a really cool guy. And
Yeah.
then what was happening would come back full force. I remember a story in her book about the kids, how they wanted to try to figure out what was going on. So they were using a Ouija board in the living room, and while they were doing that, a statue of Mary and a doll came flying off the bookshelf, and they got freaked out. Things in Michael's room would always come flying off the shelf. So he came back and did a mass there in the kitchen with the family, and kind of died down for a little bit, but then it came back full force. And then he got the approval from the Vatican to perform a structural exorcism of the house, kind of like a house cleansing. Again, this is like taboo before the movie The Exorcist even came out, like in the 70s. This isn't something that you're talking about. It's either angels or demons back then.
Yeah.
He brought in a film crew from New York City. He brought in a psychic. His name was Alex Tanis, to give us psychic impressions of the location. Ed and Lorraine Warren had been there as well per his request. And he performed the structural exorcism. I've gone out and talked to Clara. She lives in Florence, Oregon now. She's still alive, and her daughter Mary and her husband George. And she kind of told me like the family all like knelt in the living room, and the priest was in front of them, and they started doing the structural exorcism, and they said the whole house shook for like 20 seconds. The film crew recorded on the outside of the house. They had a recorder, what sounded like the house screaming. Something was screaming. And then it was like cleared in 20 seconds. It was good for a couple weeks, but then it started happening again, and
Oh,
they had to, basically the priest told them, I don't know if there's anything else I can do. His advice was them is to leave the house, get out of there.
yeah.
And they hightailed it all the way to California. They lost everything. They lost everything they put into it. People moved in and out of that house, who I've interviewed many of them. One group moved in for a month because they didn't want what was there to know that they were leaving. Left all their stuff there. Like numerous people up until 1986, when the Misnick family was there. They were the last family to live there, and until I bought it, really. So yeah, I mean it was a lot of work for me to actually get to meet her too. Like, she was very well protected. They took a lot of crap that hit the papers about the ghosts at the house, and people were making a mockery of it. It was very serious, like, and they were living the nightmare, but she also loved the place. It was like a yin yang type of thing. She loved the location, but she hated what it was doing to her and her kids and her daughter. So I mean, it's a pretty good story. The way she wrote her book is in form of a diary. So she was keeping notes every day of things that were happening and writing about them, and then she turned it into a book after they left. So it's really cool actually being able to read her book and read about all the stuff that happened while they were there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What a trip. What a
I
trip. I
know.
don't think
What a
it's,
whirlwind, huh?
you definitely don't have a dull life.
Yeah, whoever says they're going to go buy a haunted house, right?
With that kind of history.
Right.
Remarkable. Yeah, that's crazy. All righty. Anything else that we have not touched on that you wanted to share?
I'd like to promote at the end of July, the 24th, 25th, and 26th. I'll be in Gettysburg presenting there. It's called the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, and it's a fundraiser that I was highly involved with before my daughter had cancer, because it was for pediatric cancer research and also for veterans outreach. So all the proceeds go to both of those organizations, and there's tons of celebrities that are going to be there. It's an amazing, fun weekend. Celebrity bartending, karaoke, you name it, investigating. It's all fun, and there's tons of vendors, and it's a really good time, and it's highly attended, and it's a good time. This will be my first time coming back in a couple of years. And the first year that Shaylee was diagnosed, they all the funds from the celebrity bartending they donated to Shaylee, which was really nice.
Oh,
And Shaylee is supposed to go back this year. She's supposed to go with me because Batman comes and he brings his Batmobile, and he was going to give her a ride on that, but she's going to camp this year. So with Camp
oh,
Good Days, so she really wants to go to that. She met
what
her
is the
best
name of that event?
the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, and
Okay.
it's
And it is
24th, 25th, and 26th in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
how cool. Wow. Oh, good, good. And so we should be able to find that online pretty easily.
Oh yeah, you put that in and they'll pop right up. Put it in any social media.
Awesome. And then you're going to be at our event, the Metaphysical, Holistical, and Mystical Expo in mid-August, and you're going to be doing a talk there too.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Looking
that's going
forward
to
to
be fun.
that. I forget what you're talking about. Do you remember?
I'm going to talk about Hinsdale. Probably we'll dive in more.
Okay,
I'll show
cool.
I'll show I'll show some pictures and evidence and some EVPs, and it'll be fun.
Excellent. Great. And then one more time, your website, please.
It's my name, DanielKlaes.com, and all of my
Perfect.
social media and store and everything is linked right onto there. So
Great. Good deal. Good deal. Really good to see you again. You look fantastic.
thank you. I feel
And
fantastic. I feel good. Going to be 50.
good.
So
Because that's what matters. It's how we feel on the inside, and then that, will manifest on the outside to equal.
absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for being on the Woo Life. Thank you, readers, followers, listeners, and watchers for joining us. Again, this has been the Woo Life. I'm Susie Woo, and it is grounded conversations for cosmic thinkers. And we'll see you next time.
See you later.